Hey y'all, it's your girl Kim Whitley. I am a proud graduate of an HBCU, Fisk University. That's right. And let me tell y'all something. It made a world of difference in my life. I went to HBCU. It made me who I am today. It's like going home. Like if you take a trip to Africa, you land, you're like, I'm home. It's the same thing. I mean, it's a community, a sense of community. The teachers help you. Your friends help you. You got sororities. You got a marching band. Oh, speaking of marching, hey, y'all got to watch March. Ha! On the CW. Makes you feel like you at home.
TT on the mic makes some noise for the baddest band, Prairie View A&M University, better known as the Marching Storm.
Being a marching storm is a very prestigious and coveted position.
Our performance level is just far above any other band.
Of course, Prairie View's the best, the Black Foxes. We can't go wrong with them.
We are going to get in here and grind every day to be the very best that we can be.
Now that everybody is able to hear us, it's pretty important to be able to make your mark.
All right, hey everybody, welcome to our March panel. It's always exciting for me to watch a promo for the show, and I hope it's exciting for everyone watching out there. To kick off this panel, I want to have all of the panelists introduce themselves, starting with you, Dr. Zachary.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Tim Zachary. I'm the Director of Bands here at Prairie View A&M University. I've been here for 10 years. This is the 10th season, and trying to keep it going strong.
Professor Hopkins?
How you doing? My name is Brandon Hopkins. I'm the Associate Director of Bands here at Prairie View A&M University, and this is my 8th season.
All right, TT.
Hey y'all, I'm Tiara Chapman, better known as TT on the mic. I am the announcer behind Prairie View A&M University's Marching Storm, and this is actually going on my 11th season as a band member and 8th or 9th season as an announcer.
Jalen.
How y'all doing? I'm Jalen McCurtis Henry. I am a senior drum major for the band from Dallas, Texas.
What's your major?
Kinesiology.
Nice. Shelby.
Hi everybody, I'm Shelby Duran. I am a Black Fox. I'm a sophomore and I am a business management major.
Nehemiah.
Hello, my name is Nehemiah Nelson. I am a junior music education major at Prairie View A&M University, and I play mellophone in the Marching Storm.
Jamel.
Hello, I am Jamel Shelton. I'm the executive producer of CW's March.
And I'm Sherry Skorka. I'm the head of unscripted content for Stage 13 and an executive producer on March as well. Just a little background, Stage 13 is an original content studio and production company showcasing a new generation of inspired talent and voices, just like the talented people on this panel tonight. We like to tell authentic stories, and none felt more authentic than a behind-the-scenes look at the Marching Storm. So we at Stage 13, along with our partners at the CW, were so excited and honored at the privilege to get to work with the Marching Storm for our series March. CW, Sundays at 9, 8 Central, shameless plug, and streaming on CWTV.com and on the CW app. We had been talking to Dr. Z. Him and I have been talking for a couple years, and along with a lot of the band leaders. We were finally able to start filming despite our uninvited guest, COVID. We were able to capture an amazing, resilient, talented group of students, teachers, and community at Prairie View A&M University. Being on campus, the band truly felt like the heartbeat of the university. So, Dr. Z, I'm going to start with you. For the uninitiated, why is the marching band so essential and important to HBCU culture?
I think that over the last 50 years, it has sprung up to become the mainstay at most of these universities. As much as we'd like to claim to be an anomaly or something very unique, we're not. Our sister institutions have bands that are just as worthy as this one is. And I think that it's the history and the tradition of the institutions and where they are that make them what they are. Prairie View A&M University Marching Storm could not be the Marching Storm without being here at Prairie View A&M University in the middle of nowhere, Texas, and all the struggle and strife that it took to become this band. And I can say that about all of these bands. They are representatives of their communities.
So, Professor Hopkins, you are an 8-year veteran, you said, of the Storm. What's so special about the Storm, and and specifically this class, this group of Storm?
Well, I've always said, and I tell the students and the staff this all the time, the March of Storm has the most resilient students I've ever had the pleasure of working with. No matter what the obstacle, we always supersede everything, all the expectations, everything. No matter what kind of obstacles seem to be in our way, we always find a way to persevere and make the product just as pristine as if we have every resource available at our disposal. So it's just the resilience, especially this class. You know, we're dealing with COVID and so many other things in the world, and they step up to the plate and knock it out the park every single time.
Now, TT, you've also talked about that Prairie View was your dream school, and this was your dream to be a part of this. Why Prairie View? Why was this specifically your dream?
Ever since I was 10 years old, and even younger than that, I grew up around nothing but music. My father was a musician. My uncle is a musician. And I've always loved music. My sister used to dance, and I used to hear this specific cadence. That really was the first thing that sparked my interest in the marching band sound. And I didn't stop until I found where that sound came from. I grew up in a time where we didn't have a bunch of videos and social media to really show us what HBCUs look like. So I began to, studying music by sound, studying band programs by their sounds alone. And when I was 15 and I got to State Fair Classic and I saw the Marching Storm, I knew that's where I wanted to be. Couldn't explain it. I played trumpet since I was 10 years old, and I knew it's really what I wanted to do, and I just never stopped. So to see my 15-year-old self know that that's what we want to do, and to be doing it now, the capacity that I'm doing it, it just really makes it all come true.
I'd love to hear from one of the current students, current band members, about why Prairie View was the university that you chose and the band that you chose. I'll start with you, Jalen.
I'll never forget the day Dr. Zach came into Cedar Hill, Texas. He was looking real nice. He had his trumpet in his hand, and he was just telling us about what it takes to be a bandsman in a band. And I think the way he carried himself and how he just talked about all their accolades, and not just the accolades, but how they accomplished the accolades, that really just took me in. And I was like, yeah, that's where I want to be.
You're gonna get an A this semester.
Shelby and Nemo, I'll give you a chance to earn your A in a second. I just want to move on to, just to get an idea of the scope of this band. Dr. Z, you usually have these numbers in your head, but can you do a little by the numbers, like how many members and how much do you guys practice and buses to travel to games? Like,
you want the musical tour via math. There are 330 members in the band. Currently, there have been up to 410 members in the band in the past. I think that was 2018. That was the largest band that I've had since I've been here. And of course, the pandemic has taken a hit, given us a hit. But mathematically speaking, and I know you love when I go down this mathematical trail, we spend about, in the summer, we spend about 16 hours a day during the weekday, Monday through Friday. We spend 20 hours on the weekend for about 3 weeks of summer band camp. That culminates into the beginning of school, where we start spending 4 to 4.5 hours a day, 5 days a week. And then on the weekend, we spend about 10 hours at the game. And I've run all the numbers, and that comes up to about 252,000 man hours with 330 members that we spend in between the summer and the fall, or the end of the fall. And that's an incredible commitment from the students to the university and to our fans and our audience and our alumni. That's why they do it. Nobody's getting paid to do what they do, but they really take the ownership of it and never complain, that I can hear, because they want to hear me talk about them complaining. And we just do it, as Prof. Hopkins says, the resilience.
Nehemiah, you had a reaction when he did the hours. Are we reacting because you feel those hours, or because you can't believe it?
Most definitely felt those 252,000 man hours. It's my second full season with the Storm, and we work very, very hard. Every single person in the Storm works very, very hard, and it means a lot when it makes it a little bit easier on you when you're there Monday through Friday through the weekend, and everybody in your section is in attendance as well. We all putting in the same amount of work.
You know what? Nemo is my oldest son's favorite character and my youngest son's favorite character. They don't talk about me in this show. Hey man, that dude Nemo, Dad. I'm like, what?
And man, we tell y'all that is Nemo every single day. That person that's on that camera, that is Nemo every single day.
Right. It's so natural to him. That's
He's definitely a spirit animal of the storm for sure. He's one of my contact people that I look at when I'm performing to let me know where I am during the dance routine. I actually make contact with him every game.
And Shelby, you definitely had a line in March where you were talking to Hammy and saying people never leave here; they just practice after practice after practice, and
Oh, they do go to
it
class.
shows.
Well, when practice is in session and we get the tweet, some people don't leave. We still have, some people on the instrument or we'll still be dancing. It's just a place that we just have comfort. It's easy to be there.
You guys are a big family. But producing a large cast is one thing, but capturing over 300 band members was certainly not an easy task. And I knew when I was looking for a producer to be on the ground, I sort of ran production from far away. I wanted to find an amazing executive producer to run it, but who also had a connection to HBCUs and possibly a Houston area local. And I found this incredible human, Jamel Shelton, who had everything that we were looking for. Jamel, tell me about why you jumped at the opportunity to work on the series and a little bit about your experience at PV.
Many reasons that I decided to wanted to do this show. One, I did attend HBCU. I went to Clark Atlanta University, and I'm from Houston, Texas. And majority of my family and friends all went to Prairie View, so there's definitely a connection there with me. And I love music. I love the HBCU culture. I love what the band brings to the culture, and I've always grew up with the halftime show being an exciting experience to watch and to be a part of. So to be able to come to PV of all places to capture and really show what all goes into making these amazing halftime shows, I think that was a fantastic thing to capture on camera and a story to tell, and especially for a team that was ranked number 8 and to watch them go to number 1. I mean, what else can you ask for?
Jamel, we'll come back to you because I definitely producing the show had its challenges, but it's so rewarding when we see it when we see the episodes every week. I have to say, I get teary eyed after watching, and I know Jamel does too because he texts me every week. So just to touch on something that Dr. Zachary said, the kids go to class too. We definitely saw a scene in the show where Dr. Zia and Professor Hopkins talked to every single student about where they're at just after midterms. Talk about the standards that you hold the band members up against, and why is it so important to you and other band leaders that the Storm has that they stay to this academic level?
There are many ways to do any one thing. And I've had the opportunity in my career to witness such giants do it. In my mentors, O'Neill Sanford, Paul Adams, Isaac Greggs, and others, to see how they did it. And I always surmised in my mind that at the core of our band programs, they were too transitional, meaning that the students would come and go without fully matriculating and getting to the end of the goalposts. So I always said that if I ever got my own program, I would make it a benchmark or a stable or concrete pillar of the program that we would focus on retention as well as recruitment so that we're not recruiting a whole new band every year. And it started off with, kind of successful when the first couple of years we were in the 80%. We were really happy with that. And we've, stable this whole thing is stabilized right around 90%. And if you average it out over the past 8 years, it's going to be right around 89-90% of the students have a passing GPA. Well, that is also going to turn into a high graduation rate. That's also going to turn into better shows. That's also going to turn into less discipline problems. That's also going to turn into being more creative. because you can be more creative with people who understand what you're asking for. So a lot of those things are the reasons and the rationale that I did it professionally, but personally, it's the right thing to do.
One thing that I admire about Dr. Zachary, and he didn't mention it, is a lot of times it's not even about the music. It's about what they do after they graduate. And we tell the students all the time, you are a student musician, emphasis on student, so nothing supersedes academics, not even band. And, we push them so hard to make good grades because at the end of the day, you don't major in band. You can major in music, but you can't major in band. And nobody wants a C nurse. Nobody wants a C average engineer. So you have to kind of push them to be their best self so they can be productive in society. These 4 years, sometimes 5 years that you spend here in the marching band, it's just that. It's a very small portion of your life in the grand scheme of things, but it's also the most influential, in that moment in your life. So we really push them to do all that they can, not just inside of Hobart Taylor and out there on that field, but in those classrooms as well. Because ultimately, that's really what's going to define who you are when you're in your profession. So get those grades together, be great on the field and in the classroom.
So a lot of the season of March focuses on, exemplary students and holding those high levels within the band, specifically the drum majors. There's only 6 of you, and Jalen, you are one of them, and Nehemiah, you are a hopeful for a drum major, and there's been a lot of mentorship between the two of you throughout the season. Jalen, tell us about the journey and the responsibility of being a drum major.
The journey is really, really tough just because it starts the first day you join the band. And you don't really realize that until you open up your mouth and you say you want to be a drum major. And, you'll get director's eyes or people around the band and be like, huh? Or, oh, okay. And then from there, it's actually just putting into the work to really know what I need to work on to be able to one day be in front of the band. And then when you are in front of the band and you do uh, get the honor to become a drum major for the Marching Storm, you have to do everything in your power to not become complacent in every aspect. And it's just like, I want to say it actually gets harder once you get the max because that's when the real work starts.
So Nehemiah, knowing that there's a lot of work involved in this, why, do you want to be a drum major, and why did you seek out Jalen for that mentorship?
I'll say I wanted to be a drum major. Still want to be a drum major because it is tough. It is hard. I feel like the hardest part for me personally would be able to uh, reach my expectations as a drum major and still grow outside of that and not waver in any aspect outside of marching band. When it comes to marching band, of course I'm gonna have to practice to get better, but I've always performed. I've always performed under pressure. I've always been a leader in marching band even since high school. So once you I feel like once you learn how to carry yourself like that, it kind of never leaves you. Now I want to step into those bigger shoes and become a drum major on a collegiate level and bring that killer instinct and bring that energy that I have right now that I always carry with me and bring it to the mace, bring it to the band for the next season. And the reason why I asked Jalen about his advice, aside from him, just being a real cool dude and being a friend of mine, he's a good drum major. He's a great drum major. Um, when it comes to performance, when it comes to teaching, when it comes to having a band focus on the task at hand in a respectful way and in an efficient way, Jalen is good at that. And those are all skills that I know, I'd have to build. So of course I'd ask Jalen.
I don't blame you. Shelby, you're on a similar journey in the series as a Black Fox. You were Kaylin, obviously graduated, and so we know there's no more captain, and you definitely are looking to try to take that position. Why is that so important to you to take on that leadership position in the Foxes?
I definitely want to have that position just because I know the artistry that I bring from dance. So I didn't come from this style of dance. I came from a more contemporary, modern style, kind of slow music. So when I grasped this and the creativity that I got from, hearing the music and the fast tempos, it was definitely something that I knew that I could change the team and not change it in a different way, but just make it to where everyone can understand where they're coming from. Because on my side, coming from modern, they really didn't understand what they were doing. Or they're just dancing the drums. Or they're just dancing to a beat when we could tell a story while dancing to any type of music that the band plays. So I definitely see it on the creativity side. And then also just where I want to bring it more of a sisterhood to the team, more family oriented, because we're all girls. And of course, being on a team with a group of girls is already just a red flag in a way. But I just want to make it more secure in everyone's relationships. And I know it's going to be a little tough, but it can happen because we've had great bonds this season. This probably has been the best bond that we've had.
I think, it seemed like this year was a special year because it was the 50th anniversary of the Black Foxes. Is that something special to you to be part of this legacy, to be part of the Black Foxes?
It's definitely special. I wish that they were able to perform and that I was able to meet more legacy foxes just to hear their story on how they, paved the way for us. But definitely meeting Dr. Sherrod was a, big accomplishment. And, her story for us and everything that she said, it was really positive. So that was good. And just knowing that I'm able to leave a legacy of mine behind for, future generations, who doesn't want that?
So speaking of being a leader on the field, the voice you hear first is Tiara, Miss TT on the mic. Dr. Z, what made you bring TT in as the voice of the band? How did that all come together?
Because she has the biggest mouth in the band. There's a certain, and it's more than her ability with her phenomenal tool that God has gifted her with. She has a phenomenal voice and phenomenal presence, but it's more than that. It's something, as the French say, that je ne sais quoi, that she has when she walks into a room that's just like the light goes to where she is. And she was able to bring that in a transformative way to the microphone. And it was a growing process, you know. She grew into it. And then, it was like watching someone master something. They get out and they're really good at the beginning, but that mastery, now I can literally take the band anywhere in the world and give her a scenario, and just as long as I let her know what the scenario is, she'll give me a formula that fits that scenario. Not every announcer can do that. Some of them can only do basketball games or whatever their specialty is. She has the ability to step in any arena and light it up in any setting, and that's a unique skill. You can't teach that.
What do you want to say to that, TT? Oh wait, no words.
Thank you, Doc.
You're welcome.
He knows I'm a crybaby, man. It's really an honor to be able to serve and represent for the Storm. And like I said, I was just dreaming of playing my little trumpet and going on about my way. I would have never imagined being able to represent in this capacity. And Doc believed in me. I never forget the first conversation we had about considering me as an announcer. And I remember he said, "It's like, you're gonna go far, Tiara, and I'm gonna help you get there." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm saying, just give me my mic." And and that's really how it went down. But Doc is one of those people where he doesn't make impulsive decisions. He will think over it and think over it and think over it and really consult with himself and whomever over and over again before he feels like he's made the right decision. And to be a part of something that he believes is the right decision and to have the opportunity to master my gift and learn and grow, it's an honor. And it is a very humbling position. I don't take my job lightly. A lot of people assume that I get out and I announce these games and I do it like it's nothing. I do it like it's everything. This is my ministry. It's my testimony. And every day I touch a microphone, it's another day of me writing my story and representing us. And it feels so good to definitely be in the right place. And I couldn't have done this at any other university that I wouldn't have wanted to. So
And let me
thank you,
add though
God.
with Tiara, something I saw this past season. Um, she has a God-given talent, absolutely, and she does it well. But I don't think people realize how much she works on her craft. We went outside on the field one day, and she literally was on the sideline for about an hour and a half, just going through the script, saying things in different ways, and she was just blocking everybody out, and she was just real focused. And I thought she was talking to me, and I turned around to answer, and she gave me the like I was disturbing her. Excuse me, but she really works hard at her craft, and I think a lot of people think she just kind of goes out there and wing it. She doesn't. She really takes it serious.
What's your what do you get the biggest response from at an event? What's your go to like call and repeat type thing?
Make some noise.
Right. Definitely make some noise. That's literally my motto. Make some noise. I literally feel everyone around me when I hear that. Or of course PV, or definitely, set your home coming out. But it really does resonate with make some noise for me because it means more than just the words for me. It's a message behind it.
Jamel, when you first met TT, did you know you were going to have her become sort of the narrator for the series?
Yeah, that first interview, I knew already that that's exactly who was going to be. Uh, I found out about the radio show too. She's part of the radio show over at PV. So I was like, it just made sense. She's the voice of the Marching Storm, and why would she not help narrate their story while they get a TV show? So I was very, very excited when TT agreed to it, and Dr. Z says, she pops. She has the personality. She has the je ne sais quoi that just gives it that. She just sprinkles it every time she gets that microphone in her hands, and we love it.
Even on the
Can't get
bus at
enough of
3 a.m.
So stay on the field for a second. Music. I want to talk a little bit about music. An HBCU band show is nothing without a solid playlist. And, Professor Hopkins, I got to see you doing some arranging. I think we caught you doing a little Dua Lipa at one point. And then, I would love to know what goes into picking the music for each performance, and how do you balance the modern songs with classics, and do the students get any input into the arrangement?
Actually, the students get a lot of input on a lot of the new school music, because that's their thing. They know where to find the new stuff, the new hotness, as they would say. And oftentimes they'll bring me a list, and then it's never a list of 4 or 5, something that you can digest. It's always a list of about 40 songs. And I'm like, y'all got to condense this and give me give me what y'all think is the best. But they have a lot of input on what we play in terms of the more up to date music. And a lot of them have great taste in music. So even some of the old school things that we play, that a lot of that is their recommendations as well. But it just depends. The students get a lot of input. Staff, we get together and we'll bounce ideas off. So it's very organic in terms of how we put our playlist together, what we're going to play at what games, and it's a method to the madness, because we'll get with Dr. Zachary and have, even though he hates meetings, he keeps us in them until it's right. And once we finally come up with what we want, and then we just go ahead and execute from there. But so everybody kind of has their hands in the pot. But when it comes to the more up to date music, that is definitely the students.
What was your favorite song to dance to this season, Shelby?
I would definitely say Have Mercy, because I made a stand to that song and it's so good. The song was so good. So, yeah, Have Mercy is probably my favorite one to dance to.
See, this is when band directors and students disagree.
Oh, and I like Leave the Door Open. That was a good one too.
Much better answer.
Yeah.
What about you, Dr. Z? What's your favorite song for what when you hear it back? What do you love listening to?
The alma mater, because I know we're leaving.
Now we got a whole nother hour in the stands after the alma mater, man. A whole nother hour. What you mean?
My musical taste is so different. I'm never listening to the song. I'm always listening to a lot of other things that a normal human being wouldn't listen to. And when they hit all of those things, that's when I like the song. I don't care what the song is, but when it's in tune and it has great articulation. So it's those special moments for the band when they're clicking on all cylinders, and they're doing all the things that I think that as a teacher and as a professional musician that I would want them to do. That's my favorite song, whatever that is.
Well, y'all gave me chills during homecoming on Get You in the Mood. I still remember being on the field fangirling like, do y'all hear them? Like I was pointing to people who probably watch us practice like, do y'all hear these? Do y'all hear them bones? And that was literally, and then when the Whispers literally hit us up and was just like, we love y'all, thank y'all
See, I
for
didn't even know
playing our song.
that.
That was my jam.
I have a question for Jamel when I get an opportunity.
Sure. Let's why not? Ask me a question.
Where did you grow most while doing this show?
Where did I grow most?
Yes.
That's so poetic.
Yes,
That
sir.
is poet. That is a poetic answer, question. Well,
Dr. Zachary.
I would say the thing that I learned the most about was one, everything that goes into a band and an ensemble. I didn't even know that they had that many sections in a band. So I thought that was incredible. Then, watching actually you coordinate 300 plus people at the same time under circumstances and not even having a band hall. I was very impressed to watch how you and Prop Hop and Miss Sean Zachary, how you guys were able to make it work under all odds to the point that you guys became number one. So I definitely got a lot of growth watching that process and watching you, Dr. Zachary, and how you handle yourself and how you handle your students and how they treat you and how much they admire you and what you do for them. I definitely had a learning and growth experience being a part of that. And I'm very proud that I was a part of that. Thank you for letting me be a part of that.
So, I was going to save my congratulations till the episode 8 because, I never, it's like playing cards. You don't want to put them on the table till the game's over. But through the episodes that I've seen, it is a true representation of who we are. And that was my one request from you. We're not actors. I refuse to act. What people need to see is us. They like, love, or hate us. That's their choice, but they need to see us in our raw and unfeathered and uncut form. This is who we are, and you all really accomplished that in the first 5 episodes.
We appreciate it.
So congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you for trusting us.
Y'all were fun to shoot with.
Thank you for trusting
us. It was a learning process.
Hey, it was a learning process for everyone. A lot of people, Pop was like, I didn't know that it took all this to make a TV show. Because we was everywhere. And it's definitely a learning curve for everyone to be a part of the television aspect of everything. But, to even open up their lives and to trust us, with such a thing, because there is a lot of legacy that is surrounded around Prairie View, and it did need to have the right representation. And I appreciate you guys trusting us and trusting Sherry and Stage 13 with such an opportunity. And listen, I hear nothing but good things about the show from everybody who watches it. So I think it's a home run, and I can't wait for season 2.
I felt like Beyonce. I see what you did there, Jamil.
Prairie View is such a special place. It's a special campus. When I got to spend time there, I got chills when I learned more about the story and the history of Prairie View. And I think a lot of that came to light in the episode leading up to the game at Texas A&M. Dr. Z, do you want to start with a little bit about, for those who are watching who are not alumni and are not aware of some of the history and the relationship between PV and Texas A&M?
Well, they are both land-grant institutions here in the state of Texas. Prairie View is actually the second oldest institution of higher learning, founded right after Texas A&M. And we are part of the Texas A&M system. So we are a part of this system that has about 9 schools, I believe. Very interesting history, very long and steeped in a lot of difficulties, as well as a lot of good things that have come out of this relationship. That particular game it's a band game. That's what that game is. It's literally billed as a band game. And we're excited to be a part of that. And at the end of the day, we are a band, and we do what bands do. And we went to Texas A&M and turned out 95,000 people on their feet.
I know that in the show, Nemo commented that the Aggies band put on an amazing show. It's such a different type of show, but commented on their sound and their precision. Tell me about that mutual respect between the two bands, either Jalen, Nehemiah.
I personally really enjoy watching them just because that's where I started. I originated doing chorus style, superhero chest, all of that. So it's pretty cool to see the different cultures of the band. I love their drill, their precision, and just certain moves that we do that look completely different. Watching A&M, well, watching any college band, it really tells a story of their culture. And watching them, you really see where they come from. And then just being able to meet with some of them afterwards, they really love what we do and just don't know and can't even grasp how we do certain things. So it's pretty cool to educate them on how we get down.
Just to talk a little bit again about Prairie View and the campus. As an alumni, TT, can you talk a little bit about like what makes the campus special? I mean, others can jump in as well. From the top of the hill to all the different areas, and I mean, there's certain areas of grass that nobody steps on. There's a lot of respect to the actual campus itself. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. There is so much legacy at Prairie View A&M University, and it's on a whole nother level for me. My grandmother actually went to Prairie View A&M University along with several other cousins of mine that came before me and after. Prairie View A&M University is so rich and just tradition, and you can feel it when you enter the campus from the welcome to the hill sign all the way back by the farm. You hear so many stories, so many buildings that were not even there when I first got there, and it's just amazing to see your campus evolve. There is grass. We don't walk on the grass anywhere at Prairie View A&M University because of the history behind our campus being once a plantation. And out of respect for the slaves, we don't know where they're buried, and so out of respect, we do not walk on that grass. And that's one of the first things you learn when you come to Panther Camp, when you get to know the school, when you do a tour, even if it's at Pantherland Day. A lot of your faculty and staff probably went to this university at a time where the girls' dorms were way across the campus from the boys' dorms, and you needed a permission slip for the guys to go to the girls' side because the barbershop was on their side, and many buildings where there's empty field grass are no, where the buildings were there at one point are no longer there. A lot of our administrative buildings were once dorms for our students at one time, and just to see how the campus has evolved and still evolving, and it's just a beautiful thing. And you hear a lot of those beautiful stories at homecoming when alumni comes back and they're like, child, I remember when they used to be a French's or Wings Chicken. Baby, y'all got this now? Like a lot of them don't even know about the Taco Bell, yet alone the Checkers. Okay. Unco is literally a word for the culture. Okay. That was our bus station that we had, and they don't even have it now. It's a big deal. Even off campus, Waller County Line, a lot of those are like staples of the culture for PB. And so just to see it evolve and see where we come from, it's really dope to see.
So I think not sure we can talk about anything over the past couple of years without talking about COVID, unfortunately. But we were excited to see you guys back on the field after another season. The reason I'm going to this question next is because you brought up homecoming. Homecoming looked very different this year, still because of COVID. But Dr. Z, I know we were talking earlier this week about how just it was something you guys had to deal with quite a bit. Tell me about how COVID affected the band and how you guys persevered through it this season.
COVID didn't just affect the band; it affected everything. It affected what you did at the grocery store, every single aspect of your life. But to be in a sport like band, where the only way it can be done in in a manner that would be respectful is done together. There are other things that you can do, and you can separate it into smaller pieces, and it's fine. Band is not one of those things. So that was the ultimate challenge for us. How do we get this puzzle that we have to have all together? And luckily enough, we have such a talented staff, and not all of them are cast members, but they deserve all the credit as well. We all work together. You have Prof. Jimenez, Prof. Douglas, Prof. Chapman, Prof. Jones, along with Prof. Hopkins, myself, and Mrs. Zachary, and Tiara, and others. Our volunteer staff. We couldn't do this stuff without our volunteer nurse, because that's the person that we had to run to every 20 minutes to call and say, hey, what do you think about this? How can we accept this information? How should we use this information? How do we do this test? And we had a testing strategy that was it was almost a nuisance. It still is, where you test twice a week, and when you get ready to go to a game, you test again. And it's all for the greater good. And every night I had to go to sleep thinking about that type of decision for the next day, to give an audience a 7-minute show. How much we had to risk day in and day out to do what we do at the end of the week. And, like I said, I thank God that we were able to navigate this in a way that, there was some collateral damage, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
So, Jalen and Shelby, you guys got to perform in homecoming this year because of how strict, I guess, the COVID protocols were. Homecoming did happen, but Jalen, you performed in a pre-COVID homecoming as well, correct? How was this year different?
I think the biggest thing about the homecoming for the band is just watching everybody before you come out and support. So pre-COVID, you were able to meet some of these guys and march with them, and they just show you a lot of cool tricks or just helpful tips about how they used to do things back then. Due to COVID, that alma mater was missing, like that wasn't there anymore. So you were just like going with the flow, the energy and everything. The morale was to make sure that they still enjoyed it, because they wouldn't be able to be participating, but it was that was really the only thing different, just not allowing them to march with us.
But Shelby, it sounded like, despite it was cold, the parade was cold, and it seemed like a long day. How was your first homecoming experience?
It was great. It definitely was up to the hype that everyone talked about, except, of course, not having the legacy boxes. But everything else the weather was nice. We had nice uniforms that day. The field routine was a favorite. So everything is pretty good.
So while I have Jalen and Shelby here, I'm going to start with Dr. Z and Professor Hopkins. Love was definitely in the air. I mean, we were very authentic about covering the band and what was really going on. We didn't create any relationships, but we didn't have to look too far to find them. Do you guys see a lot of band relationships over the years? You guys have been there for many years. Do things ever get messy? Are there a lot of band marriages? What's the history around?
A lot of band kids. That's right, man. That's what it's called. I think that because of the atmosphere that we've created, it was here before we got here, where this band, it interacts differently than the band, when I taught at Norfolk State or when I was at Southern University. When I was at Southern, the band was all male. Different dynamic. We were telling really bad jokes on trips, like, whoa, just to entertain ourselves. There was nothing else to do. Then you get to this band where it's very student active. They have a lot of power as student leaders. So the whole dynamic is different. They are free to do what they need to do within the context and the confines of what we have to do as a band. We don't deal with personal relationships in band. That's not our business. Our business is to teach. You can't be all booed up on the field though. That's not going to happen.
So Shelby and Jalen, you guys have let us follow you. You let some cameras, follow you as your relationship is growing. What was it like to put yourself out there like that?
Silence.
Isn't that awesome? You got one, you know.
You said you go first, Jay.
Somebody blushing.
It was definitely eye-opening, but I would say weird, like something I just wasn't used to.
But it was weird. I did say ill a couple times on camera, and I had to, go back and say something else. But I want to say it was weird. It was just new. It's like you don't really have someone following you, trying to hold hands or something. It's kind of just awkward.
I find that so strange because you all do it so much on social media. What's the difference?
That's at my will.
So our content creator on the ground, Jamail, he actually is a very busy producer and is going to have to jump before we finish. And I want to let him, say something before he heads out. I have a few more things I'd like to talk to our band about. But Jamail, do you want to finish up what you would like to say about working with this band and producing the show on the ground?
Yeah, I think this band is amazing and they are completely inspiring. And I think it was refreshing to actually watch a show that's in the reality type of world, but see that it be an inspirational thing and not fighting and drama and that type of programming. I feel like it was definitely a positive representation that was needed, especially after the Black Lives Matter movement, especially it being the airing the month of February of Black History Month. I feel like we tapped into the culture and we did it for the culture. So I'm very proud of it, and it's something that everyone a part of the band and who go to PV should be proud of as well.
Thanks, Jamail. I'll let you jump off.
Love you guys, miss you guys. I can't wait for us to all to get together again soon.
I have one question for you, Sherry, before we go, though,
Okay.
that I just want an answer to. What was or what is your most prideful moment about the show?
I think I'm finding the greatest pride from alumni or people that are from the HBCU community. I didn't have the honor of going to an HBCU, so hearing from the community the way we told this story, that we didn't create that drama, that we were able to tell an authentic story, that was still like it's still fun to watch. You still want to see what happens every single episode, but we didn't have to create fake drama. I love putting positive, representations of different communities out there, whether it's my own or others. And it's just been that to me was such an honor. And I got a lot of pride in the fact that we were able to create this. And that's why, I had Jamail jumped off, but having him as a partner in crime on the ground was just, it was, we always put each other in check, both from a storytelling perspective, from a cultural perspective, making sure that we were doing the right thing, and then bringing that to you guys. And I think, like, probably halfway through production, you were like, oh yeah, these guys get it. Like, these guys get our purpose. And I felt like we were in line with the purpose, of the band and betterment of young people and really putting these students out there in a way that they could be proud of and look back on in 5 to 10 years and not be embarrassed that they were part of the show. I mean, obviously everybody will look back the way they looked because, get ready to look at yourself 20 years in the past, but it
you look good.
but to be able to walk away from something proud of it themselves. And I think that for me was prideful. I think the struggles, a lot of it was just time, and time was not on our side because COVID sucks up a lot of time. It really did for our production. For you guys, the same struggles you were dealing with testing, we had to deal with on a production standpoint. And I think that was really difficult. Just a few more things I want to touch on before we go. We talk a lot. One of the driving forces of this season is a lot about the rankings. And I think that the band ranking amongst your peers was a driving force in the series and a motivating factor for the band. You know what, with Jalen or Nemo, I would say, like, what does that drive to be number one mean to you and the other band members? Let's try Nemo just to see if you got some. I'd love to hear from you.
Being a member of the March of Storm, you always put your best foot forward just because, not only are you representing this program that you have so much pride in, but you're representing in a grander scope HBCUs, people of our skin color. and musicians of our skin color. So you always have those factors on your mind when you're getting ready to perform and you're working throughout the week, because why would I come and practice here every day for 4 hours if it's not going to be the best it can be? So, and then there comes the competition factor of these other programs and other institutions, and the fact that we are better than them. So, it just kind of comes full circle in more ways than one for us to want to be number one.
Professor Hopkins, I'm going to let you jump in about using the band rankings as a motivator, and what do you think of this ranking system?
For me, just being totally honest, the ranking system didn't really matter to me, because the way that I rank our band is we're in competition with ourselves. We want to be a better band than we were the week before. We're not in competition with anybody else. That's for the spectators to, have their opinions or what have you. As long as the band is growing, the band is learning, the band is getting better at something every single day, they will always be number one in my book. There is no other number, so there's no need for a ranking. It's just about being better every time we hit the field, every time we put those horns to our faces. That's what matters to me.
Dr. Z, do you want to add anything?
No, I don't know many people who shoot for silver. So, if you get it, you get it, but that's not what you were going for. Man, I want a bronze. Nobody says that. You get it, but everybody wants a gold. And that's what we do every day. In every area of this program, we're shooting for gold. And sometimes that's a very easy ride, and sometimes it's a rough road. But whatever the pathway is, we're going to cover it.
Because we're the best.
As Nemo
we're going
says.
For the best. Expect life daily test. Hard work, preparation. Y'all know what it is.
Yeah.
Even on the cloudiest day. Even No, I totally agree. I definitely remember one of my favorite choreographers. She always starts off by saying, "I'm here to dance for me. And the only competition I see is the reflection of me." And that definitely resonates with how I feel about rankings in the band world. You get a lot of different rankings, and sometimes they're spot on, and sometimes you just feel like they might be biased. Either way, it doesn't stop my grind. Either way, I'm going to go back on a band trip and stay up till 4 a.m. and listen to the recordings that I stood on the bench in the stadium and took of the storm, and I'm going to try to be the best version of myself so that I could put out the best version of the storm and do whatever I can. You're not going to always please everybody. And I learned years ago that no matter how great you are, somebody's going to think you suck. No matter how great you are, especially if you're shining the way they want to shine, especially if you are as amazing as you are. For us to be ranked at number 8, but still was looked at and sought after like a number one band, I wasn't bothered by it. I look forward to seeing what people are going to think when you realize how unbothered we are and how we grind. Our work ethic doesn't decrease even after being number one. We actually work even harder. We don't believe in comfort.
Jalen, did you want to jump in? I see a lot of nodding.
I just agree with everybody saying. A lot of people don't understand that when I personally look back on a halftime show, I just think of everything it took to really, really, really make that halftime show come alive. There's plenty of times where there's somebody in the band who is having a panic attack or anxiety, and just being able to go on YouTube and watch you do a 7-minute or during Honda, 18 and 20-minute show,
which is supposed to be 12.
Yeah, that's just a huge accomplishment. And these people, they try to categorize it by saying, this was better, this was better. But looking at that, I just don't think that a lot of them understand or really just care about the story that goes behind it. And it's just truly amazing to, see little people have so much confidence in themselves. And I was one of those people who, wasn't able to really speak up or move without having somebody else go with me. So being able to find myself in this band and be able to lead this band is pretty cool and definitely tells a story.
Yeah, Jalen could tell you about the time he got in trouble. He just alluded to it just now. Dalen's first trip to my office was with his mom on the phone. That didn't go well. Didn't go well at all. But 4 years later, look at the transformation.
One of the most chill-inducing things that I saw in the show, and it was something that I remember when my field team, when Jamal sent me, he was shooting on his phone to send it back to me here in LA, was when you guys all, before a big game, do you pray together, and you speak your creed as a band together. Jalen, will you tell me about the importance of faith within the band and how that brings you guys together?
That's, I want to say, really one of the things that really stick us or really glue us together. There's not too many places you can go and ask for prayer, let alone have more than one person pray for you. It's pretty cool to just be able to have a group of, just a mass multitude of people who really just understand the importance and the power that prayer has. And when you bring that into this organization, it does nothing but just bring us closer, make us more vulnerable with each other. And, when everything is out there in the open, we're able to be like, oh, bro, I can really relate to you. Or, bro, I really understand where you come from. So compassion increases. And now you got this family and you was aiming for business. And now we out here doing what we're supposed to do while loving it because of prayer.
And tell me about, you guys have that, we all we got, we all we need. How long has that been part of Prairie View's? I mean, I saw it as a hashtag, which obviously is very new. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
Ooh, you want the real story?
I'm about to say,
ooh. It was
tea tonight.
I guess that was about 5 years ago, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm a huge fan of Vince Lombardi and his coaching style, and Bear Bryant and Eddie Robinson, the old school coaches who really pushed their players to do whatever they did. So I was thinking about this really long creed, and the students were like, "Nah, bro, that's too much to learn." And we had a graduate student here at the time whose name was what's Hetty's real name?
Jeremy Whitfield.
Jeremy Whitfield. And I tasked him and a team of other leaders. I think Savannah Sargent was a part of that. Melissa was a part of that.
Good, yeah.
And they came back with a few versions. I was like, nah. And then all of a sudden, they were hit with inspiration. And the creed was born. And we have been abiding by our creed ever since. And it was literally some of the things that he took from the Lombardi, some of the things that he took from alumni, and his own inspiration with this group of friends. I think Zachary Shelton was a part of that group too.
Yeah.
So, and they were a very close-knit group, and they've all graduated and gone on to better things, but they left the legacy of the creed here for the people behind them.
We are history in the making. We are the movement that the world wants to groove with. And we are all we got, because we are all we need. Because we are the storm.
What do you hope for next fall for you and the Black Foxes?
Definitely meeting more legacy and see how they go about things and, what they do now, how the Foxes help them outside of school and in their future, in their life after college. And I definitely would say just the masks kill me dancing. So I really want to get rid of those. And that's really it.
Nemo, I'm going to throw this to you. What do you hope for next season?
Next season, I just hope that the Storm is going to put foot on neck on anybody and everybody all day, every day. And just climbing that mountain, just like how we climbed the mountain to be ranked from 8 to 1. just climbing the mountain from the moment we start band camp into the end of the season, and to not waver. Just not only for the organization and our performance, but also I would like to see just the growth of every member within the Storm throughout the season.
And Jalen, I'm going to jump to you. What you're going to march one more season, and then you graduate in the fall. So what's your fall, and what's your plans right after?
So in the fall, I'm just looking for that growth. Like Nemo said, I really like seeing people come back and have that fire again to, put the Storm back, in its rightful throne. In the fall or after school, I want to hopefully get into grad school. If that's not the route, there's a chiropractor school in Dallas. So the plans could be moving back to Dallas to join that chiropractor school.
So Professor Hopkins and Dr. Zachary, for you guys, what are you hoping for fall? You've had a couple years of just disruption. What are you looking forward to for next season? Start with Professor Hopkins.
To be honest with you, man, there's no ceiling. We've done so much since I've been here that literally the sky's the limit. Like, we can go perform on the moon if need be at this point. We've done so much. And but I just expect us to continue to get better, continue to show the naysayers that, they don't know what they're talking about, and continue to prove that we're exactly who we say we are. Every single time we touch the field, every time those horns go to our face, every time Twirling Thunder put a flag in their hand, every time the dancers take the stage, we're going to be exactly who we say we are. And that's not going to change. And that's for next year and every year after that.
From my standpoint, is always about elevation. I'm glad that we're getting our summer bridge program back this year. This has been a catalyst for graduation for some of the upperclassmen to work that and be able to get 6 credit hours. It also gives us a head start on these big performances that we do at the beginning of the year. And I don't think about mountains. I don't think about climbing. I don't think about any of that stuff. I just think about the work. If we do the work, we'll get the outcome. There's no shortcut. It's easy to stay number one if you stay working.
Gotta take the stairs.
Stay ready. You ain't got to get ready.
But I'm also looking for, in these young people, and the show has been very revealing to me because I don't see them in the light that I get to see them in the show. I see them in passing. Shelby runs by, she yells, or whatever kind of greeting we're doing that day. Jalen will come in and speak monotone. He's almost like talking to myself. And Nemo will come in and he'll be supercharged about something, and then I'll have to pop the little bubble. So I want to see, for them, their growth. I want Shelby to not have to wear the mask. And I think she knows what I mean by that. She's very good. She's extremely good she's great as a dancer. She really is. She's very well spoken. She's a great student, but she presents to us what she wants us to see. I want to see what everybody else sees so I can know what I'm getting as a person. For Jalen, I need someone to take the leadership of that head drum major if that's what he's interested in. But everyone knows that working for me is not easy. I know working for me is not easy. Nemo, you got a lot to prove. You have all of the talent and all the skills and all the capabilities. But it's like having ingredients on the counter. You haven't put it in the pot. And I need to know what you're cooking. Understand? So, and the hop is hop. I push my staff too. I push myself. Trust me, it's not easy being in this position, but it is something that I am humbled by and that I'm appreciative of, to be able to be a part of their lives in the way that I am, and for them to be a part of my life in the way that they are. So everything that we do here is from that perspective. No one is guaranteed anything here. Everybody has to work to do whatever they get and to do whatever they do. Nothing will ever be handed to you on a platter. Not around here. If they do, you can expect from somebody to knock it out your hand because it's just not the way we do business. And I think that those are the things that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing Tierra on television, so I can say, "Yep, I know her. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that." So there are lots of things
I
that I
receive
have
it.
that are always bigger than band. Band is the tool, the vehicle that we ride in. It's not where we're going.
You pushed us too on the production side. So
I know. I remember the phone calls.
I'm going to end with an open-ended question just about some PV pride. Like, what makes Prairie View A&M University so special? As the HBCU experience in general, but specifically Prairie View, like, what makes it so special?
I would definitely say the connection. The people that I've met so far definitely just talked about, future things or even small organizations, small things such as photo shoots. It's a lot of connections and people are very supportive here, especially coming from a different school and wanting to go to a different type of school. I went to go to school in California. I just know that I wouldn't get that support and that foundation in California that I've gotten so far from PV. So I'm really glad I chose this school.
I would say the opportunity here, going out and doing something new is definitely the best way to find yourself. And when you look around and you walk on campus, you just see that so much. Whether it's a club you never heard of or just something you've always wanted to do, opportunity definitely presents itself. And I think everybody around us grabs that. I remember walking around and I seen Nemo modeling, and I was like, bro, like, okay, that's what's up. And then like a lot of my other friends, they joined computer clubs and now they work for Geek Squad. So hopefully they're working on getting the service and stuff back up. It's just like watching. It's just like when opportunity presents itself, it's so cool to see, so many individuals like you attack it.
I'd say the thing that makes Prairie View so special is the love. It's really a family. Like you could really meet somebody new, or meet somebody not on campus, somewhere in Houston, somewhere in Dallas. You're like, you go to PV, or they see you in your storm gear, and they're PV alumni from 08, 90 something, whatever, and they like, wow. Yeah, and y'all relate to so many things without even having met that person before, without even talking to them before. And especially, the alumni, the older people, they're ready to pour into you. They're ready to support whatever it is you got going on, just because we really treat each other like family here at this institution.
Well, I want to thank all of you so much for being part of this today. And in spite of a power outage or phone outage in Houston, everybody made it. Thank you guys so much. I'd like to say a special thank you to all the, other than the panel, everyone who made the show come to life, the students, the faculty, the amazing people behind the scenes at the school, whether it's Michael, A. Marie, Andrea, Sierra, Candace, everybody at the school who helped us out, Miss Wade for helping us get into all the buildings. We appreciate you guys like crazy. And, we also want to say special shout out to the production team and everyone at the CW and Warner Brothers. And of course, the fans and viewers of the show and the alumni who are really, making this show something even greater in social media as well. Make sure family, friends know about the show. Watch, stream, post on social, follow, #CW March. We are airing every Sunday at 8 Central. You can watch us on CWTV.com, on the CW app. Again, spread the word because, more shows like this with positive portrayals of young people. It's not common. It's not always common out there. So, to get more shows like this on the air. Because we were part of the CW, we have one more special treat for everyone watching this panel. The month of March will be filled with great episodes and stories from our show March, but also on CW. We're thrilled to be part of a network that is also home to All American and the new show All American Homecoming, also set at an HBCU. And here's a sneak peek.
What you're about to experience here over the next 4 years is special.
Freshmen, we are Black Excellence. Welcome to Brixton University. Got the power, my people get tired. It's over, who calling the shots?
You are at an HBCU now.
College is for real now.
Juggling school, tennis.
You're gonna miss the best part.
And that is, I too was in college once.
Every time we go hard or we go home.
The university is working through some financial issues.
I gave up the MLB.
It's gonna be a long season. Buckle up.
Who got the power? Who got the power? Who got the power?
You can point to examples of Black excellence and see what is possible. Never let anything keep you from your dream.
We're chasing our legacy.
So with it being Jackson State week, this could be the last game of the season. If the football team is successful, then we'll continue and we'll go to Atlanta. So either way, we're going in there to turn up, and every single person in that stadium gonna feel it.
I'm incredibly excited and nervous for the championship game because there's a lot riding on this. Jackson State, amazing band, and it's really time to show what we've done throughout the season. This is what it all was for.